Okay. I know your name, but for anyone who's transcribing this and needs to know, can you
Sure.
say it for us?
It's Subodh Chandra, Subodh Chandra, managing partner of the Chandra Law Firm in Cleveland. We are a civil rights law firm.
Just Chandra, can you talk to us a little bit about this bombshell federal case filed Tuesday with Ursuline um, players, coaches, administration, please?
Our clients allege that they are victims of abuse by football players at Ursuline, hazing abuse, sexual assault, kidnapping, dissemination of child porn, battery, and various other state crimes in multiple states, Ohio, Tennessee, Alabama, and Florida. This all culminated, according to the suit, in a 9-day football camp trip that the Ursuline High School football team took with its coaches down to these states. And there, the suit alleges, there were repeated acts of sexual assault, hazing occurring with certain boys being instigators, others egging it on, and some video recording these incidents and then sharing them to the team Snapchat. When our client, victim football player, told his mother about this at the end of the trip, he was obviously very distressed, and the suit alleges that he was sexually assaulted. The mother then spoke with the coach, who essentially, according to the complaint, said it's just boys being boys, and but otherwise expressed no surprise or alarm at what had taken place. So it's a very serious matter. The suit also alleges cover up, failure to discipline, negligent hiring and retention of these coaches to begin with, who the suit alleges had dubious backgrounds. And the hiring
Uh-oh.
by the bishop,
Yeah.
even after an official of the diocese had recommended against that because of the problematic background of the coach.
How egregious is all of this?
This is one of the most severe cases of pervasive sexualized hazing that I've seen in my career at any institution, be it a high school or be it collegiate. And it appears to us to be a series of almost breathtakingly bad exercises of judgment from beginning to end. The suit is alleging that the original sin was the hiring and retention and failure to supervise and train coaches, but extending all the way through the pattern of hazing that took place over many years, victimizing our clients, dissemination of child porn, and then covering it up and issuing false statements afterwards. So it's a very serious matter indeed.
There's so many questions. You know, there are some people that have heard and read this story, and our viewers want to know, this happened back over the summer in June. Why are we now just hearing about it? Why did it take so long?
Well, there was some local coverage, I believe, either at the end of June or in July, by various local news affiliates. But the school was issuing statements denying that anything had occurred, claiming an investigation that the suit contends didn't really take place. I mean, certainly our clients weren't interviewed as victims. And there's also an allegation that a daughter was victimized here too, the son's sister, because she faced intimidation by at least one football player and his friends about what she knew. That's what the suit contends. So in answer to your question again, um, there has been some initial news coverage on this, but the school administrators were putting out statements denying what they knew to have taken place because they had copies of the videos. one of the administrators had actually recorded the video from our client mother's phone. So she had the video, she saw what had occurred, and nevertheless, they were putting out statements gaslighting our clients and the community that nothing had occurred. There is, I can confirm, a federal, state, and local law enforcement investigation, we believe, spanning 4 states. Our clients have been cooperating with the federal investigation. Since we filed the suit, we have heard from other potential victims. And so this is a matter that is going to take a great deal of effort to try to unravel and resolve and hold people accountable. Our clients are determined to hold everyone involved in this from top to bottom accountable. What's important now is that people with information about what transpired here or other victims come forward. We want to give them a safe space to be heard, and we would welcome hearing from other victims.
My goodness. So there's a federal and a local investigation
Federal, state, and local.
for federal. Is there an investigation happening in the state of Ohio?
We believe so. Yes,
Okay.
our clients are cooperating with law enforcement and uh, meeting their requests.
That was one of the questions our viewers had. They said there's normally a criminal investigation before there's a civil investigation. What happened? Why does it seem reverse in this instance?
I can't speak to what has taken law enforcement so long, but I would imagine that they're trying to dot all their I's and cross all their T's. We just were very thorough in our work on this, and it, as you can see from the 200-page complaint, it took a great deal of investigative effort to put all of this together. It took reviewing videos, photographs, interviewing witnesses, gathering information about what had transpired, and putting together the complaint. But our hope and expectation is that law enforcement also will act to hold all of those who are responsible accountable. It's important that your viewers understand that the criminal justice system and the civil justice system offer different remedies. Some of them overlap, but many of them don't. For example, victims of sexual assault through the criminal justice process can obtain only very limited restitution in the form of hard economic damages that have been experienced. In the case of sexual assault survivors, that economic losses, but there is tremendous emotional distress, reputational harm, trauma that also deserves compensation, and that can only be obtained through the civil justice process. So our clients are pursuing all available remedies to them as crime victims through the criminal justice process and also as civil plaintiffs because they want to see accountability across the board here for the diocese, for Ursuline, for its administrators, for these coaches, and for the players and their parents who may have participated in these matters. And when I'm speaking to the parents, I'm speaking, of course, to the allegations in the complaint about some parents that acted in a retaliatory and intimidating way to our clients when they tried to speak up.
Chandra, there's a game tomorrow.
Can
It
you repeat
seems
that? You broke up for a moment.
okay. I said there's a game tomorrow.
Yes. I'm gonna, you're gonna actually break some news that I don't think has been reported yet. So let me tell you something we believe to have taken, two things we believe to have taken place in the last 48 hours since this suit was filed. What is it, 24 hours? When did I file it? Was it yesterday?
Tuesday, and today's Thursday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. In the last 48 hours, this is what we believe to have transpired. And I have been trying to call the diocese's council to alert him to this. And unfortunately, he is refusing to speak by phone and insisting we communicate only in writing. And that's baffling. But I'm going to tell you something. First of all, we have learned, and it's on social media, that the coaches got together with the players and told the players that they had to circle the wagons, and that the players themselves then posted on social media photos of themselves with the caption, circle the wagons. That, in our view, and the suit will likely be amended to reflect, we believe reflects an effort to obstruct justice. The idea that one circles the wagons, unquote, without actually being told to tell the truth about what transpired, it's an extremely disturbing development. The other thing we believe to have occurred is that the school had an emergency all school assembly yesterday in which the administrators exhorted the teachers and the students that they must support and go to the football game. Now, that is again beyond absurd that the message is again effectively circle the wagons. So this is extremely disturbing behavior. In our view, respectfully, this continues a pattern of cover up, and we are continuing to investigate it. And we would welcome information from those who are aware about this questionable conduct by the school, because the school and the diocese need to be held accountable.
What is circle the wagon for those who may not know what that is? Can you once again explain what that
Well,
means?
in Old West terms, it refers to circling the covered wagons to be able to defend against the enemy from outside. But in practical terms, when a cover-up is going on, it means let us all hang together lest we all hang separately. Like, let's basically just do whatever we need to do and say whatever we need to say to protect each other. And that is not the appropriate stance in these circumstances. One shouldn't be, quote unquote, circling the wagons for the football team. One should be trying to get to the truth of what occurred. And no student should feel pressured that they are, or encouraged that they are supposed to only act a certain way and say certain things for the football coaches and the administrators to be happy. That is coercive. In our view, it is obstruction of justice.
An all school assembly requiring requiring or encouraging everyone to attend the football game tomorrow
And
night.
our understanding is it was insisting,
Assisting.
you know,
Oh,
telling them
mm.
that they have to do it, that they have to support the football team no matter what. I mean, what the complaint alleges in some detail and presents this theme that apparently the football team was elevated over all other values,
Mm.
including the actual motto of the school, which is all glory to God. Instead, it
Mm.
was all glory to the football team.
Wow. That's
And I just let me zoom out a little bit and look. Oh, let's be very clear, and excuse me, let me start over. Let's be very clear. This is not an arguable point that hazing is criminal in Ohio. It is criminal in Florida. It is a criminal act in Tennessee. It is a criminal act in Alabama, all of the states involved here. It is a criminal act, and it is defined in the statute, and it certainly would be inclusive of sexual assaults as part of hazing or any kind of assaults or battery.
sure.
So, under those circumstances, where you see not only a pattern of conduct, but you also, according to the complaint, have cover ups of that conduct, there is a thinking at where nobody seems to be able to be the adult in the room. That's what the suit is alleging. There's nobody who's actually functioning as the adult. These coaches, the teachers, they're all mandatory reporters.
They are.
They are
That
required by law to report what they know and what's happening, to stop it, to prevent it. They are in loco parentis, which means they are in the shoes of the parents. They're in the location of the parents. They're acting as the parents when they are in charge of these children, and these are children.
that is one of our questions. There have been no dismissals. There have been no leave of absences while an investigation is pending. You
In
know,
the normal, in the normal corporate world, here is what would happen. In the normal world, the moment there are allegations as serious as this, the people allegedly involved are either suspended from school or, in the case of the coaches, would be suspended and placed on administrative leave. It might be a paid administrative leave pending a thorough investigation. A thorough investigation in a situation like this certainly requires that you interview the alleged victims, you interview all of the alleged actors, and we're talking about upwards of 20 players that were at least witnesses and about 12 or so who were directly involved, allegedly, according to the complaint. In those circumstances, you do a thorough investigation. It might take weeks, it might take months, but you do not, under any circumstances, just let business as usual go on and say the football team is the most important thing in the world and we all have to go and support them. And gee, everybody, nothing happened. There's nothing to see here. And we investigated and everything's fine. Well, if you investigated, then why did you refer it to law enforcement? And why are these people still there? Again, I would never, I'd be the last person in the world to ever to suggest to anyone that people aren't presumed innocent and that we should just assume guilt. We have a civil justice process for resolving liability. We have a criminal justice process for determining whether there's probable cause and people should be charged and whether they should be convicted. But when there is a cloud over a football program, the way there is right now, and where there's certainly the administrators have seen video evidence of it and photographic evidence of it, which our complaint is replete with those screenshots. In those circumstances, you expect administrators to act accordingly. And frankly, let's not let the diocese off the hook here. The diocese should be suspending the administrators who are now accused in a 200-page civil complaint of cover up. There should be a thorough investigation and there should be a thorough cleansing of the school
Diocese.
and potentially the diocese.
Yeah, the diocese. My goodness. I want to, there's so many questions. How is your client?
This,
How are they?
So this has been an incredibly difficult situation for the client. Not only was the son, he contends and the suit contends, sexually assaulted um, and repeatedly victimized, as you see from the details of the complaint. But then his sister was subject to intimidation by one of the players. The suit alleges that people started stalking her at work, showing up, and one individual associated with one of the players involved and put his fingers to his eyes and pointed at her, as if to say, in a mobster fashion, we are watching you. The mother has been subjected to intimidation and retaliation by other parents, according to the complaint, who've been, essentially blaming her for daring putting the football team in jeopardy again, football overall. So this has been incredibly painful for them, incredibly distressing. But what I have to say I admire is their determination to do what is right, the ethical core in which they understand that what happened was wrong here. And despite all of the pain and the distress and the fear that they are experiencing, they are absolutely determined to hold everybody from top to bottom accountable. And for that, I feel, and our entire community of lawyers representing them feels very much honored to be entrusted with such a solemn representation.
Chandra, this feels like some kind of plot out of a movie,
Yeah,
you know?
except that if we were to see this plot in a movie, we would think it was a bad movie because we wouldn't be able to suspend our disbelief that every actor at every moment throughout the course of events would make a stupid decision over a long period of time, including after the suit is filed. We just wouldn't believe it. And the movie studios would reject the script as saying beyond belief. So the reality here, unfortunately, is alleged in the complaint and the forthcoming amended and supplemental complaint. Uh,
You froze a little bit.
Let me just repeat that last sentence.
Yes, please.
the reality, as alleged in the complaint, is far more bizarre, I think, than even Hollywood would tolerate.
Mm. I mean, I'm sitting here, I can't even, I'm like, this is Youngstown, Ohio, and this is happening. I'm stunned. What?
Well, see it. Did your readers have any other questions that I can address?
Yes. Let's see.
I did see people asking the question, why is this civil and what about the criminal? And
Yes,
I put up an FAQ on our website on the difference between the civil justice and criminal process. That one,
definitely take a peek. Let me see. I had one more. I want to make sure I look at my notes. Um, so yes, more people did come forward. More people are
yeah. And we have,
possibly,
yes, we've heard from multiple people who are
and
coming.
then I asked you about if you felt that this was um I don't know if I asked you this. We talked about it a little bit. Do you feel this was dragged out for the football season? Like we talked a little bit about the football season is it was put, it seems like this was put forth. That's the important thing. But a lot of people are like, maybe they dragged this out because they're number 12, they're top of the state, they're this, they're that,
That who dragged it out? That
like
the school?
the school, the
No.
investigators, like everyone's complicit.
Well,
There are a lot of
so I will say this, I have no reason to believe that law enforcement has been anything other than diligent in this matter.
okay.
We have no
Okay.
reason to believe that. We have an open communication channel with law enforcement in this matter. I don't want to say anything that would jeopardize their sources, methods, or plans, and I don't have any insight into it. But what
Okay.
I do know is that we have had productive conversations with law enforcement. They are asking the right questions. There was nothing about our civil complaint that we have any reason to believe is incorrect from discussions with law enforcement. We did get the impression that they learned some things, but not everything, because they knew a
Mhm.
lot of things already, but they learned some things from our civil complaint and the investigation that we did on our own independently
Mhm.
to prepare the civil complaint. So my own belief is that um, that law enforcement is doing what it can. Again, this is a multi-jurisdictional investigation. That's my understanding, right?
Sure.
Because some of the alleged criminal acts took place in Tennessee, some took place in Florida, some took place in Alabama, others took place, some of the obstruction conduct took place in Ohio, some of the alleged child porn dissemination took place in Ohio, some of it may have taken place elsewhere. So it becomes a complex investigation
Very much.
because of the number of places misconduct took place, because of the number of people involved, because of the number of discrete acts that occurred, and because of the different criminal statutes involved across all of these states. As a former federal prosecutor and Cleveland law director myself, I could understand how this would, from a criminal law enforcement standpoint and prosecutorial standpoint, this could become a pretty big, unwieldy
Okay.
matter. You have to have interagency coordination. So I don't personally fault law enforcement for being
Mm.
anything less than diligent when the incident took place in June and a lot of information is coming to light. I should mention one other thing that would be breaking news. We just learned about and obtained another video today that we weren't aware of these same kinds of acts among these football players. So we're just at the beginning of investigating that. Somebody brought that to our attention. We weren't aware of it. We don't know if law enforcement knows about it. So it
Mm.
could be that as an investigation, both criminal and civil proceed, that we learn more and more and more things. Starting to hear from other victims. It's our belief that this hazing culture at the school goes back years. We will probably hear from victims that may go back years, that maybe even statutes of limitations have passed for them, right? We don't know. We did hear, for example, from another person who was contending not being victimized by the football team, but by uh, lack of diligence by the administrators when very serious issues of bullying were brought to the same administrator's attention. So we are just now getting our arms around that. Who have allegations concerning Ursuline High School. Let me say that again, who have allegations concerning Ursuline High School.
Okay.
And we certainly, if there are other victims out there, we'd like to know about it because we don't want victims' voices to be lost. They need to be front and center in this matter.
Okay. And then my last question for you. You said something earlier. You said your client was never interviewed for any investigation at the school.
Yeah, the actual victim client, who was the boy who was subjected to this conduct, has not been interviewed by the school administrators. The mother spoke to them, but
Okay.
so it is our belief, and it is reflected in the allegations of the complaint, that there was no real quote unquote investigation, or certainly not a meaningful one, that anybody who's watching your program would take seriously at all. And that's not a real investigation for something like this.
Okay.
And certainly that's reflected in the false statements as alleged in the complaint that the administrators then tried to make to the Ursuline community and the community at large, that nothing really happened here. It's an isolated incident. There's only a handful of people involved. They had seen the video. It was not a handful of people involved. So once you have administrators making patently false statements out to the community about what transpired, you cannot credibly claim that there was an actual serious investigation when the little information they had reflected that they had something explosive on their hands.
Okay. Thank you. And if our viewers have any more questions, you've mentioned there's a FAQ on your website, correct?
An FAQ on the website about the difference between the criminal justice and civil justice process, particularly for sexual assault survivors. And that was just posted today. And people can also visit our website for the blog post, the media release, and a copy of the complaint itself is posted on there. And then finally, people with information can visit chandralaw.com/contact, and they can use the contact form securely to provide the information and their contact information so we can interview them.